Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm Marilyn and my channel is Making with Marilyn. Now I'm coming to you today from a rarely seen corner of my craft room, and I'm working over here because today I'm going to make a two-piece acrylic wall hanging using my xTool P2 laser. Now that's a CO2 laser and it's right on the other side of my computer monitor. So a man that my husband works with, he and his wife had a baby back at the end of December. And I want to make a wall hanging for them with the baby's name. And then I have a ribbon that's going to have all the birth stats. So the date, the weight, the length, all of that. But I want the main hanging just to have the baby's name so that in a year or two, they can change out the ribbon and they can keep that hanging on the wall. So for this project, I'm going to use some white acrylic. I'm going to use some pink acrylic. It's still wrapped up. I'm going to use my respirator. Please use a respirator if you're cutting acrylic. It is really nasty and you need to protect yourself. I have the ribbon here and I already sublimated the burst stats on it. I have my computer, I have some glue, and I'll talk to you when we're at the table why I picked this glue, and then of course my xTool P2. So if you're interested in seeing this project, sit back, relax, and let's get started. All right, let's go ahead and open xTool Creative Space. Now this is the software that xTool uses to run its lasers. And then let me make it smaller so you can see the whole thing. And I've already designed my image. I designed it in Inkscape. That's a free design software. You could design it here, but I was finding that you just didn't have that many options here. And to me, it's better to design it in a different software. Just my opinion. So I'm going to go up to Image, click on that, and then I'm going to go down and find my image. And it's Mila Marie. Let's go ahead and open that. And it's coming in really large, even though I didn't make it large. So I'm going to say go ahead and scale it to fit on the canvas. Okay, so let's look at this. I have two different parts here. This part is going to be the actual round piece of the acrylic. That's the actual wall hanging. The outside and these holes here I'm going to cut, and then this inside I'm going to score that. Now I'm scoring it to know exactly where to put my words. This is a little bit larger than this. I used an inset when I did this to make my score lines. You'll understand a little bit more when we put this together. But basically these score lines just help me to know where to put Mila Marie. Okay, so let's click on that. Right now that's layer 2. That is a cut layer. I want to go back up to here. I just want the outside, and I want to say move to, and I want to have its own layer. It doesn't matter what color I use. I'm going to use blue. You move it to its own layer so that you can manipulate it independently from other things within it. So if I click right here, it's going to click everything else. I'm going to say to group it. And now I have 3 layers to work with independently. That's going to be important. Okay, so let's see how large it came in. I wanted it to come in at 8 inches by 8 inches. I'm going to have to drag this over to see it. Okay, it came in at 6.205 by 6.205. What I want to go ahead and do is I want to move this layer upon it so that it's within the circle, and then select everything. Go right up here, and I want to change that to 8 inches. Since the proportions are locked, it's going to change the width and the height, and I'll hit enter. Now I believe the red layer, let's see what the red layer was. That was the score layer. Let's see what the orange layer is. All right, I think that's my cut file. Let's drag it off. Yes, because it's thicker, I can tell that's my cut file. Now I'm ready to go ahead and start telling the xTool what I want to do with this. Let me get it back where you can see it all. Now I'm ready to set my settings, but there's one step to do first. Let me click off of it and let me tell the xTool what material I'm using. So I go right here and I'm going to use the setting 3mm white acrylic. Now part of it's white, part of it's pink. I've never cut this pink before, so hopefully this works well with it. Now let's go to this circle. I'm going to cut the circle as well as these little circles. So I need to change it from the default of score to cut. And since it knows my material, it sets my power, my speed, and my pass. Now let's go ahead and click on the red layer. That's my score layer. So I'm going to leave the default alone. It's going to have a power of 100 and a speed of 160. Again, one pass. This is what I'm going to cut out of some white acrylic. Let's change it to cut. Again, we have the power of 100, speed of 20, and one pass. So what I need to do is I need to go ahead and turn on my xTool so that I can use the cameras in the xTool to know exactly where to place these designs. Now I already have my white and pink acrylic in there, so once it recognizes it, you'll see that in the camera. All right, it wants me to update. I'm going to say, not now. And then to see all of the white and the pink acrylic, I'm going to say refresh. Okay, so I want my words cut out of the white, and then I want my circle. Whoops, let's go back. All right, let's move this over so we can see what we're doing. At this point, I want to move this whole thing over to the pink. So I want to move layer 3 and layer 1 over to the pink. Let's see if I can just select it all. There we go. And then drag it over. And let's move it up to the corner. And I could probably just group this. Let me do that. That way when I move one thing, let's click off of it. Okay, everything moves together. So you should select everything, group it, and you'll still have it in its separate layers. Then I want everything in this orange layer to cut. All right, so let's do a reality check. We're going to click off of it. My material is white acrylic. We're going to click on this. This should say cut, and it does. All right, let's choose the red layer. It says it's going to score. That's exactly what I want. Let's click on the blue layer, and it's going to cut. So at this time, I need to go ahead and open my window, put my vent tube out the window, and get that respirator mask on. Again, do not cut acrylic without your respirator mask. Now, before I cut anything or score anything, let's hit refresh again. All right, everything looks good. I don't think I'm too close that I need to use the capture close view, but let me show you what it does. If you click on it, and then you move your little camera, let's just move it up here. It takes a really nice, more precise picture, and I can see that I'm okay. It's going to cut on the acrylic. So at this point, I know everything's good to go. So I'm going to say process. You get a preview of what you're going to cut and score. So I'll hit start. I'm going to put my mask on, go over and press that button. We're going to watch it, and then I'll meet you at the table. Now, I thought the score lines looked kind of odd, so let me show you what happened. That's acrylic dust on there, so if I just wipe it off, you can see the lines are fine. And those lines just help me know exactly where to glue down my design. For acrylic, the gold standard is to use something called weld on. It actually causes your acrylic to soften, and then it really does bond permanently to the other acrylic piece. I didn't have access to that, so I went to Walmart and I got some of this Loctite super glue. Now this is a gel, which I like. The weld on is really, really runny. And then I really like this dispenser. So it doesn't come out until you press on these. And you can press on them harder to get thicker lines, or just barely press on them and get thin lines. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue down under the name Mila. Now my A is attached to it, so I'll have to put a little bit of glue down under where the A goes as well. Now if you've used acrylic glue, let me know what you like. Uh-oh. I got a little bit outside the lines. Now I don't want to push my fingers together because they're probably going to stick together. Super glue is extremely sticky, so you want to be careful. Also, I don't want very large beads of this to go down because they will squeeze out from under the second layer of acrylic. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. So we're just going to be really careful before I let this really fall down onto the image. So I'm just going to start on the left part of the M, kind of drop it down, and then kind of watch it along the way. I think that looks good. I love those score lines on there to help me place this. Again, the score lines were an inset of my actual image. So they're smaller, so you're not going to see them when you put your image down, or when you put your second layer down. All right, let's go ahead and press down some. I want to hold it so when I press on it, it doesn't move. Okay, I can see that that L was off a little bit. Let me move that back over. I'll hold it in place, and then I'm just going to press down on the rest of this. All right, I think that looks good. We'll go ahead and do the dot above the eye. I forgot I had to squeeze on the sides. I was squeezing on the bottle. And then I just have the M, the R, the I, and the E. So I'm just going to fast forward through that, and then we'll talk at the end. I love this applicator. You really can control how much of the glue comes out. And I didn't think it was that expensive. I got it at Walmart. I'm pretty sure it was under $5. I'll look and see if I can't find it on Amazon as well. All right, that is cute. Okay, so I want to go ahead and give this a little bit of time to dry. So do I want to put a tile on this to press it down? Let me go ahead and make sure it's fairly secure before I do that, because the last thing I want to do is put a tile down on it, have it shift, and then it's in the wrong place. Let me see if I can move this in. Okay, that's already down pretty well. This is my first 2-layer acrylic project I've ever done. I did some Stanley toppers yesterday, and I've seen some of those that are 2 layers, and they are adorable. So now that I've done this and I've used this glue, I think I might go back and do some more of those. I love this. Now, let me show you my ribbon. So I have the birth stats on it. It's just polyester ribbon, and I sublimated the birth stats on there. So I'm going to have to figure out how to put this on my round and have it work out right. I think I made the holes a little bit too large. I do have some round wood beads that maybe, just maybe, I could put my ribbon through, have the bead on there on both sides. Maybe that would work. Maybe that would work. But for now, here's where I am. I think it is adorable. Look how cute that is. Super, super cute. I really hope they like this. I hope they leave it up on their wall for years to come. Again, once she's older, they can get rid of this burst out ribbon and they can put whatever they want in there for a ribbon. I just thought that was kind of a nice way to deal with it. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cure. I'm going to figure out how to hang it. But for now, I'm done. I love it. So if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. I do think the xTool is having a sale in February. I think it started. I'm not sure how long it lasts, but I will have a link to xTool below. Also, I have a discount code, and that's on qualifying purchases. With the sale that's going on, I'm not sure if you get an extra $80 off or not, but I'll have the link to xTool. I'll have that discount code just in case it still works. And again, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks so much for joining me, and until my next video, bye-bye.